see just how much.
And if Hanwha Life mess up a team,
that TP is so far away. What? The engage is coming out so early as well. Good stopwatch out of Key as the ultimate only going to hit the Echo is able to dodge it easily. Going on in the huge amount of damage from cover, and Ixu are going to immediately shut down too as APK are pushing in. Not going to look for the win just yet. They'll actually back away and try to play it safe.
One of my favorite parts about this team fight is that Sohan actually got to the fight later and with less MS than he would have had he just ran off the fountain with home guard. So we gotta really just highlight that.
Hoping.
Like the old, was it Swain used to move with the cane?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Swain.
Leandre is now completed.
That might have been the worst teleport I've seen all year.
That would, well.
I mean, well,
you did see him teleport to the Infernal Dragon.
True, that one, actually, I might have just lied from a teleport that was in this game.
He might have taken, yeah, he might have taken the first and second place.
Yeah, well, you know.
Oh, no, wait.
He's winning at something.
Who was it? It was in LCK. Someone teleported in the middle of a team fight and just died.
Kind of reminds me of Tall.
I forgot who it was.
But that was
it was
last
iconic,
year.
For sure.
Yeah. Life-changing, that one, for sure. For many of us. As pushing in the top lane is APK. No more Baron, but they do have something better than a Baron. It's 11,000 gold. Or I guess that's actually less than 10,000. NA math, by the way. As without the Baron, they actually will not be able to push the turret at the end of the day. So they're going to go back and buy with all that gold that they do have.
Well, the question still remains, how does Hanwha Life actually win the game? And I can't assume that they will unless they do get a pick. Their entire team composition now has devolved to an Elise Cocoon and a Nautilus anchor into a Nautilus ultimate of some sorts because they cannot win a 5v5. It's just not possible. Elder Dragon is now coming up. A little bit unfortunate here. Hanwha.
Okay. Oh, boy. Well, they just decided to let him live. Feeling a little bit generous.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
All right.
And I don't think there's any way.
They can just burst the, Hanwha Life. I always love when teams do this. They make the decision to not team fight over the dragon so that they can team fight against the dragon 45 seconds later. That one really tickles me.
Against the dragon with the Baron hitting them.
Every time I see it, I love it so much.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. It's the same argument from the Infernal Drake, where it's like, if you lose this Infernal, you're gonna lose the game. So you might as well fight now before they have the Infernal, rather than fight after the Infernal when you're definitely going to lose. So, same thing here. The Elder is now on as Banshee going to go down on Tempt, and now they have Elder and the Baron going in. Is cover immediately going to go away, and Tempt doesn't even have enough damage to kill the support, as the kill will go the way of the Rakan. And the one thing that Hanwha had going for them, the Kiana, is not going to stand a chance. Mord is backing, because we got to save the base, as this looks like a solo queue game gone wrong for the side of Hanwha Life.
All right, well.
Oh. Yeah, and now Key's in a really awkward spot, and Kakao will be able to catch up to him. He's telling his teammates, wait, don't end the game, I need another kill.
This is looking like a bad Dead Mines run. Like trying to run away from the ad.
Watch out, Van Cleef's after you!
Someone pulled too many.
Why didn't you res me?
Someone feared them.
Yeah.
The other mobs.
I feel pretty feared right now, as all I want to do is run around with my hair on fire. if you're on the side of Hanwha Life. I said it before, that might have been the worst game we've seen from them all year. Not just this season, not just this tournament, but APK. I mean, they took advantage of that. They came in. It was a little bit sloppy, but they got the job done. And we know that sloppiness likes to clean itself up, especially after a win. That guy's got a nice little mustache.
I love you. Oh. It starts now?
Yeah, this is the
starts
start.
now. Yeah.
Starts now, and it might actually be correct, as Bono did not have the greatest game ever. The bottom lane lost. Songyun flashed away from a level 1 recon engage. Maybe it was level 2, you know. Kind of want to give him benefit of the doubt because, as I said before, this is not the Hanwha Life that we see in the LCK all the time. Especially recent Hanwha Life. I felt like Bono was getting really aggressive with the Jarvan and playing quite well in recent times, but this game of Elise is going to be one he'll try to forget, as Kakao had a fantastic game.
Yeah.
I remember he was coming in, I think it was last year. I forget which team he was on, but he was coming in and he did not look great, and eventually went back to another team, and now he's back in Korea. So most damage in the game did come out of the Kiana, but take a look at the team damage on the side of APK. That is pretty massive. Even that Gragas just stacking up the numbers is, wow, okay. Not what I was expecting. Hanwha Life did go down, and APK is up a game, looking to get into that winner's match tomorrow. We'll see if they can close it out here after this break.
타워만 쳐봐, 타워만 쳐봐.
나이스.
끝났어. 한타 하자, 한타 하자, 한타 하자. 안 죽었어, 안 죽었어.
나이스.
숨만 다음 경기 주자, 다음 경기.
우리를 들어라 이 말이야.
다음 경기. 램핑 생각하자.
Welcome back, guys. We are here on the LCK 2020 Spring Promotions, and first game was surprising in many different ways, especially how Hanwha was seemingly able to do nothing. Bono got nothing done from the jungle in the bottom lane with that Elise Nautilus duo. Elise skanking for the Nautilus in the bottom lane. And on the other side, Kakao had an amazing early game and actually played a great game on his Gragas. A lot of comfort, actually, from recent games from the side of APK, as Echo was played a couple of times in playoffs by good old Cover. And he did go 2-0 on that. Iksu played 6 games of Alawi, actually, in Challenger Korea, but none in the playoffs. Whereas Zaya Rakamas played a bunch down in the bottom side as well for APK. So we'll see how the pick and ban changes here, LS, after the way that game number 1 went.
Well, let's see if Hanwha Life get a better team composition this time around. I feel like I'm like the old person yelling at the TV when it comes to drafts in Season 9.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of like that all the time. But
well, a little bit more so lately, as Aatrox now will bite the dust. LeBlanc now being banned away by APK, so still choosing to take that off the table. What is going to be the final ban for Hanwha Life? Nothing really stood out. Last game is really being problematic, and so I'm concerned if they ban away one of the champions from last game.
And what are you going to do? Like, ban...
Watch it be Gragas.
Gragas or something?
Oh, man.
I was going to say Alawi or Echo, but I felt like that would be going too far. But at the end of the day, he actually banned Alawi against Iksu, saying, you were just too good at that champion, and so on got dunked in the top lane. And we have our Alawi ban. That actually happened. As Gragas, a very simple follow-up first pick, same as game number 1. Yuumi is open. That was the one ban they used in game number 1 instead of Alawi.
And will we see her? Is she going to be potentially picked up? Well, Zaya has already been selected. And so there's already a much larger scaling component that have been picked up by Hanwha Life, but we still have to see what they're going to accompany this with as, okay, Olaf. Now this is one of Bono's champions.
Yeah.
Him and On Fleek, though, they were Camille's and Zhao enthusiasts last year in the summer in solo queue. And so face roll champions that just want to run at you and do things, definitely right up his alley.
Yeah. Can work well with the Yuumi if they do threaten that pick, as Kai'Sa is picked here alongside Qiyana. So Cover says, let me teach you how to play Qiyana in the mid lane against a Taliyah. Taliyah getting locked in here for 10th.
Now we're moving into the second ban phase. Kai'Sa being selected is a little bit worrisome if you're a Hanwha Life fan. Does have the ability to get in onto the Zaya in the later stages of the game. The Qiyana being selected as well. Bono is going to have to make sure that his early game presence is felt. Last game, the mid-jungle duo of Hanwha Life didn't do the best of jobs, despite that was one of the main focal points of the draft. As Kled now taken away. Rakan to follow.
Yeah, that is something you can do. You talked about stealing away bans. Well, the Gragas Yasuo was taken away from APK in game 1, but we said we don't even know if they want to play Gragas Yasuo. Maybe it's just the Gragas. It ended up having to be that way. Same thing with the Zaya Rakan. Maybe they want to play Zaya with something else, as Nautilus is going to hit the ban list here. As I was mentioning in game 1, very strong alongside of the Kai'Sa.
going to have to decide on what a final ban is. Aurelia will be the final decision here. Does that mean that Ixu wants to potentially play Nico top lane? As that would be the Nico-focused ban, would be the Aurelia, because this is very late to wonder about that. So let's see if that actually will be the case. They do need someone coming out of top lane dealing magic, unless the Kai'Sa is going to go the AP route. As Hanwha Life now, they have a lot of aggression yet again. So
the most played for Ixu in Challengers was actually Rumble, 8 and 5. I'm not sure if you can blind pick that here, but he is going to go for it. So
there's
he ends up going for that magic damage, his most played. They banned his Alawi, and he's like, okay, that's fine, I guess. I'll play Rumble.
Rumble is pretty obnoxious in laning phase. I'm actually really surprised Korea hasn't played more of him in recent weeks. In solo queue, he's even a bit of a menace. He's one of the biggest lane bullies. He's extremely obnoxious, but in competitive, he often will go down to being an equalizer button. And so, top lane remaining champions that can really go up against Rumble are pretty few. And I don't expect that we would see something like Kassadin come out in top lane. And so Vladimir is being hovered right now. Well, the Vlad is locked in.
Yeah.
And so now this is scary because the way that Hanwha Life's team composition ends up fighting, that's a cookie monster shirt.
Yeah. And she was listening to the broadcast
The
because
Cookie
she had
Monster is
headset
the
in.
best. She knows.
She gets it.
She gets it, man.
Coolest
She
kid on the
totally
block.
Can you imagine if there was a Cookie Monster Tom Kench skin?
Oh,
Oh
man.
my.
I think you'd have a little bit of trouble with the copyright, but
What?
you can name him like
Oh,
the
okay,
the,
yeah, because
name
King
him like
Ramus
the Cracker
is in
Monster
Bowser,
or something, you know?
right? That's not Bowser.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what,
about-
I'm saying.
what about-
You could just make a knockoff version.
What about Frosted Shen? That's not Sub-Zero?
Yeah, we talked about this before.
The yellow
actually.
one's not Scorpion? Is
Yeah.
that-
The
okay.
yellow one is absolutely Scorpion.
All right.
The,
Well-
the blue one, though, not Sub-Zero. It's weird how that works, but
Okay.
that's actually the way it is.
Take a look at the team composition. Rumble, Gragas, Kiana, Kai'Sa, and Braum coming out here for APK. It is really scary. The team composition has massive reach into the backline with the Kai'Sa Rumble and the Gragas. And they have massive frontline shred with the Kai'Sa, Gragas, and the Rumble.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of modes that the team comp can take on, but for Hanwha Life, the only mode is in, and that's very worrying because Rumble's ult, it's going to be like a line of fire. It's going to part it like the Red Sea.
Yeah.
Ixu's going to turn on his Moses button. I'm not sure what they're going to do.
Oh, boy. Well, that sounds exciting. Let's see if APK can go on to win another game here, as we are going to go into game number 2 as Hanwha Life fight for their lives and their pride. Hanwha Life fan base. A bit bigger here, of course, as I mentioned before. I don't believe there's a live audience for Challengers. There might be, but I don't think many people show up for that one. A lot of people coming down here to Lal Park, though. It is 3 p.m. on a Monday, guys, if you're wondering why there are fewer people than normal. We still have surprisingly a decent amount of people.
Yeah, we do.
For this time, you know. People are at school, they're at work, they're busy, right?
You know, I really do feel like this is a testament to how good Lowell Park is, because Lowell Park is not just the stadium. There's the Bilgewater Cafe, which has excellent
Ellis's
coffee.
favorite place.
Yes, and there's the Stella Pizza and Salad place that makes insane food.
Oh, yeah.
The guy that runs that, he's my guy. All right,
He is your guy, actually.
he's my guy.
Well, we didn't talk too much about the level 1. Ward did go down here from Hanwha Life as they invaded as 4. Ixu, though, as 5, staying bottom side, trying to re-invade on Hanwha Life, who did pull out here.
It's going to be very late to top lane, which is actually obnoxious. Rumble is one of those champions that wants to really set the pacing from the get-go, and the fact that Vladimir now is actually going to be in the driver's seat in terms of lane control is really sad. Now, fortunately for Ixu, in his trek up to the top lane, he managed to roll the dice like a god and only lose 1 minion from the first wave. That's very talented.
Yeah, maybe during the breaks, these players, they just work on their RNG skills more than their League of Legends.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Now you're bringing it all together.
It makes sense now, for sure. We saw that Talia very swiftly picked up here for Tempt in game number 1, or 2 rather, in response to the Qiyana that was picked right before it. You can be obnoxious with your rocks in the early game before Qiyana has too much burst. And so it's pretty good, especially for the early game, as I mentioned, to deal with that. Bono with a very nice timing on the invade. Actually perfect coming on in here. And we have Vlad also rotating down. Cow in a lot of trouble here. Is he going to be able to get away? The smite comes down as well. He just gets away totally fine, but Bono is going to take the blue and potentially the Gromp if he does stick around.
And Vladimir able to be there as early. Oh, well, hold that thought.
Exhaust had to be used there. Tempt looks like he got a little bit too frisky in the mid lane. You have to keep your distance still against the Qiyana.
Killing the Gromp right there, it's a little bit sad to see. His resources and time would be better invested taking the left side Scuttle Crab and then moving up to his golems, because if Cacao eventually comes over and eats that Gromp and he's level 4 or 5, he gets 10% reduced experience from capturing it per level that he has over the Gromp, because the Gromp's level 1. But now it's going to be rubber banded for Cacao.
Oh, we're having a big trade here in the mid lane. Cover coming in, looking for the kill. That flash is not going to do it, buddy, as he is going to be shut down by Key, the bloodthirsty support, who does pick up the kill.
It's a nice change of pace for Hanwha Life here in game number 2. They're up almost 1,000 gold at 4.5 minutes off of just the kill, and now the wave clear as Bono's also taken away quite a bit from Cacao. And now he's going to get the second Scuttle Crab on the right-hand side. Now, I do want to mention that Hanwha Life's team composition, if the Talia, Olaf, and Vladimir are ahead, they can dive turrets. And Vladimir has a very easy way of just lighting up the entire team comp of APK and juggling the turret aggro with his Sanguine Pool. So, we'll have to pay attention to that in the mid-game. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of a damper that's put on things. It's like a dampened magic. It's ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a good feeling that you're looking for. I suppose we're still hanging out in typhoon season here.
My building, the air conditioners all do not work. I am dying.
Well, I mean, at least you were here and not in your house during that. I imagine that must be the scariest thing. Aren't you on the 16th floor?
Yeah. It's even actually higher than that normally because the first few floors aren't accounted for.
Wow.
Because they're given to stores and whatnot. But what is accounted for is Cover tried to get the solo kill on Tempt, not able to. Songyun even there for good measure, if it was going to be necessary, but yeah, the Typhoon's scary, and 16th floor heat getting trapped, it feels really bad. And you can't even really open the windows, because some windows don't have shades, or what is it called? The thing that blocks the bugs.
Like, the only thing that comes to mind is the Korean word. The screen.
Screen. Yeah. So, Korean mosquitoes are still alive and well, so I can't even open the windows.
Yeah, there's a lot of mosquitoes. I have all of my windows closed with the AC on, and there was 2 mosquitoes still in my house somehow. Still a mystery. I have not figured that one out, guys.
Korean mosquitoes
If we have
are
any
like
detectives in the chat, maybe you can help me
a
out.
Malzahar Malefic Vision Leandri Rylai's being cast on you. It feels really bad.
Yeah. Especially when you're trying to sleep and they keep buzzing around your head. But then you can't catch them, and
That's
you have
the
to get up
worst feeling.
and turn on the light, and then they're gone. But then you know if you don't sit there and wait for them that you're just going to hear them again when they come back, when the light turns off. It's not a good feeling. That was, yeah. Whoever came up with the mosquitoes, not happy.
You ever notice that APK, the acronym makes me think of Pokemon. I don't know why.
Pokemon.
Yeah, that's what I think of.
Yeah, kind of.
Pokemon comes out soon. 2.5 months, right? November 15th?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know about it?
What are you, like, counting down the days?
Isn't November when Burning Crusade Classic comes out?
Did they even announce? I didn't even know that was coming out.
I don't know. I think I read that on Twitter somewhere.
Really?
I hope so.
Someone was probably trolling you.
All right. Well,
But yeah, TBC was my favorite, so I'd like when that comes out.
in the game, though, we are in a mini lull state because there's not a lot of action going on right now. And yet again, with the Kiana, we haven't seen that much activity outside of the death that Cover suffered just a few moments ago. But remember, APK's team composition outside of Gragas and Kiana roams, they have to wait for the Rumble and Kaisa to really come online, and all of their itemization right now is quite defensive. Tier 2 boots on the Rumble, but the mobility ultimately converts into damage because he's able to stay on top of the Vladimir more.
Definitely a good choice as throwing out some vision, trying to get the combo here onto Tempt. He is going to get stunned up, and he is going to go into the grave. Now we do have Bono going forward on the Olaf. Never really going to pull that kill off 2-on-1, but he was not there to help out his buddy when he needed him most. And down will go Tempt in the mid lane.
And Tempt, he ends up dying, and it gives a kill over to the Kiana, who's now going to recall. She didn't even have her Dirk during that play. Now going to pick up mobility boots, 2 long swords, and a Dirk. The roams might be getting ready to start. As Cover, he also has an XP lead. And a byproduct of this is the fact that if you recall when Bono was in mid lane with Tempt, I do believe they shared quite a bit of XP.
Yeah, they did.
That's a way to ruin your mid laner.
It's like a wave and a half.
Yeah.
I think. He helped pushed in the wave after Cover did die earlier before. Maybe it was all part of Cover's master plan. You know, that weird flash that we saw. Maybe he was just trying to set it up for this moment.
Well, Ki and Songyun do look to be considerably better in terms of just overall lane control and playing. Now, this is 2 games now, where yes, Ki and Songyun did die, and Kakao did gank them several times in game number 1, but this is 2 games now where the pressure differential is very noticeable in the bot lane. And interestingly enough, that was actually APK's problem last season as well. They were very top-heavy with Mickey, Kakao, and Ixu.
Yeah, still waiting on Trigger and Seeker to do something. It looks like what they're going to do is die, as not sure. I think that was a blind hook into the bush that got him there. Either way, it does end up picking the kill. Trading the flash for the Ignite. A very good trade for Hanwha in the bottom lane.
In Moby Boots on Secret, I'm wondering if that is signifying what APK might be intending to do in coming minutes. Oh man.
Here comes the Olaf too. Not going to get rooted up there, as Gragas will come in at the exact right time to help out with that one.
Braum is running to mid, but Ki is reading this as a possibility.
They both have Mobies now. No more Ragnarok on Bono, but with Ki here, got to be real careful about APK engaging. Trade up in the top side between the Rumble and the Vladimir, going Rumble's way. And we're looking to do it again. I feel like this is deja vu. As they're trying to get that damage down onto Temp. The equalizer not going to be enough for the Lantern. And Rumble can't even finish him off. As APK somehow cannot get the kill onto that Talia.
That very easily could have been Temp going down to APK, which would put him further behind in the mid lane. They would have gotten the Rip Herald, probably converted it into several turret plays. And so a mechanical blunder by APK results in Hanwha Life barely being able to escape.
I'm going to have to take another look at exactly how that happened as well, because that was a mega long Lantern that did go down there. And kind of looks like he dashed towards it, but Leah does not have a dash. So we're going to take a look at what happens here as, on vision. And Key just says, okay, we know the Brahm's in the bush. We don't need a ward. And the Brahm will die. There you go. So get the replay on exactly how Secret died. Just a mix-up in vision that he'll have to be careful about in the future. We have both junglers here. Spotted on a ward is Kakao. There's insane warding on the bottom side jungle by Hanwha Life. Really want to make sure they spot the Gragas coming at all costs.
Hanwha Life hugging around bot side. It does look like they're going to raise this bottom tier 1 turret for sure. And they're going to give all the gold over to Songyun, as game number 2 looking very different from game number 1. And we still have yet to see the mid-game explosiveness that the Vladimir can offer. As Shelly probably going to get all 4 of those plates up and top, and so that'll definitely be a nice little gold swing back in APK's favor.
It's not that much time, though. They're going to look for a potential dive here. As the ultimate not going to be good by cover. Now the equalizer comes down and they do pick up the kill. Songyun slowed on that for quite a while as Secret. Nice stopwatch, but we'll see the follow-up here. Looks like he'll just be the sacrifice. Running into that play a little bit too late and ends up trading his life.
More mechanical blundering out of APK, though. They had to commit a lot more to the Vladimir than they would have liked. And so Hanwha Life, at the end of it all, they end up saving the turret. And the game is relatively stable all around. Another open dragon coming up in 15 seconds.
Lots of them Ocean Drakes today. As, okay, just straight up push here as Braum is late to the lane since he died. No Bonos here. Looking to turn into a 3-on-3. They're just going to Lantern him over. Look to push this lane. They see the Gragas. They move back. And just a bunch of free damage onto this turret based on the follow-up of the play that we just had.
Trigger down about, yeah. It's looking like you could get potentially Flame Horizon this game by Songyun. As Magical Boost and Monomune are his only items currently. They could just freeze right now, but instead they're going to teleport in. They're looking for a fight. Ixu with the equalizer has to balance the range against the play.
Here comes Kakao trying to land it here on a key, but he's not going in. He's hesitating. And now Vlad's going to get a massive chemo plague into the back line as he is level 10 and he's looking to do that damage. That was the biggest hesitation I've seen in a long time and did not work out. Now Tempt coming down here, but he does go over a ward.
They were sort of committing, but not really committing. It's like when you look at those photographs and there's a hover hand.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
That was a hover hand
That was
play.
a hover hand play for sure, up in the top lane.
I mean, Kakao was literally just kind of hovering around, not doing anything, you know? And threw his cask out, he's like, here, have this, and then he ran away.
So, Tempt trying to come in there with Bono, take away some of the Raptor camps. But yeah, game number 2 looks like it's probably over. If when we resume to live, we can talk about why. But you can see right here, they botch the dive onto the Vladimir. They take a lot of damage. Secret ends up using his he's dead anyway. Every day of the week he's dying. There's no reason to use that item right there.
Gragas was already on red buff when he did that.
And then Ixu, we take a look at how this all transpired. And I don't know what Cacao is waiting for.
Just get in there.
He took quite a while to get into the fight. Cover was not here, but a really forceful and aggressive play out of APK when they were given the opportunity to take the wave and potentially freeze it. As now Hanwha Life are gonna take the ocean. Nice.
Yeah. 3 oceans in a row after 2 oceans in the last game. So that's a total of 5 oceans so far today in our first 2 games. Really stacking up that region. Way to go. But yeah, I mean, if that were a solo queue game, I feel like people would be question mark pinging. They'd be question mark pinging Cacao. They'd be like, what the hell, you baited us, you know? And in a way he did. He had a fantastic first game, but now this game might put a blemish on that one if Hanwha Life end up coming back.
4,000 or 4,500 gold deficit right now at 18 minutes here. Hanwha Life really in the driver's seat. And the problem is that all of the gold is inside of Zaya.
Oh, they're gonna get the thresh here. He does not have his stopwatch.
Oh.
That's enough burst damage to actually get him the Vladimir down in the bottom side. No teleport. And we're still going here for APK, or at least thinking about it. But they do end up deciding to disengage. Zaya and Talia are pretty good at the disengage and kiting, so they don't want to go in for that one, and they also don't want to let Soan push a free turret, so they'll take the win and the kill, as now trying to join up here is Tempt, but immediately going to hit that blasting plant, flash blown on Ixu. And Cover, who for some reason was really close to that brush. Here comes Soan behind the turret, but he is going to be zoned away as Trigger's alone in the top lane, deciding I'm going to try to get this turret up here. I need to get my farm down. That's going to give Hanwha Life the inner turret here in the mid lane.
And they're also going to be able to pick up the Scuttle Crab on the left-hand side. Baron not up yet, but if they do end up getting the 3rd Ocean Dragon, it becomes very easy to 2-man and 3-man it without much worry at all. Kaisa almost going to complete her 2nd item, as Kiana as well is going to be able to pick up the 2nd lethality item shortly here, I would assume. But things just look disastrous right now for APK. That's
Ooh, nice job by Key. Some fast reaction time there to help out his AD carry, otherwise she was in a world of hurt.
And so now, Hanwha Life, they're just sort of biding their time. Probably just want to wait for item completions on the Vladimir, on the Olaf, and on the Talia. Gonna be pretty unreasonable to assume that Sung Yoon should be able to complete a 3rd core item before next major team fight, but we'll see how long the lull state ends up lasting. Zaya's abilities look very pretty, by the way, or Kiana.
Oh yeah, very colorful.
Very colorful. They look like those what are they called? The finger pops? You know, like the ring? The lollipop ring?
Ring pop.
Ring pop.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what they look like.
So, were you a fan of the ring pop or the
push pop?
The push pop.
Yeah, I was definitely a fan of the push pop.
You like the push pop?
I did.
Do you remember Fun Dip? Fun Dip, you remember it was
like the candy thing that you stick on the pixie dust.
It's like the
thingy?
candy stick into the candy dust.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing. Anyway, Cover here in a lot of trouble. Doesn't have his flash from before, but actually the blasting plant again is going to save a life here from the side of APK. well timed to get the Talia out of there somehow.
And now we're back in a bit of a lull state. There's nothing to really fight over, so unless APK make an arbitrary decision to go through Fog of War, despite all the while acknowledging the opponent cannot do Baron, it would be quite interesting.
I mean, it would take a really long time at 22 minutes into the game to try to start the Baron. Although Talia and Giải are not bad at doing it.
All right.
It's Olaf.
Are you a Twix or a Reese's Pieces? What? Reese's Pieces. Kind of a guy.
Reese's?
Yeah, Reese's.
I thought it was Reese's.
Is it Reese's?
Yeah.
You're talking
like
to the guy that says Atrox, Aatrox, and A8.
Reese's Puff cereal. It's like candy
Reese's
for
Puff.
breakfast or something like that. I forget the motto.
So which one?
I am a big fan of Twix. I used to actually get it all the time.
At Halloween?
No, back when I was casting at the Nexon Arena
Okay.
for good old League of Legends, but also StarCraft 2. As everybody wants to try to get on in here, Cacao in a lot of trouble,
Rumble.
but look at that damage coming out! But speaking of which, we got a Vladimir in the back line. Nicely timed on the Zhonya's there, but he's going to go down by himself, essentially. Cover. Not sure why he was there at all, as he stuck around a little bit too much. And Bono's going to go down now, as So-On is kind of ruling the rift here, putting on his best Nuggery impression at this moment in time, as Cacao is looking for the minions. Maybe a bit of damage.
He's going to just turn his attention over to the Wolves as Hanwha Life. They seem very eager to run down over here and pick up this Ocean Dragon.
They need
There is no better climax to this than to roll a Cloud Drake next.
Yeah, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to roll real high.
All right.
For a second there, I was like, it can't be another
No.
ocean.
Yeah.
Okay, mountain,
Well.
that's good.
That was actually a very winnable fight for APK that Cover then botched on the Kiana follow-up to it. So he hooks the Gragas, goes over the wall, goes to the play, but look at the equalizer. There's nothing equal about that. It is extremely one-sided. Vladimir comes in, beautiful Zanya's timing and location for Ixu. He goes down, but Cover whiffed on essentially everything. Eventually got caught up by the Talia seismic shove. Bono goes down shortly thereafter, but Hanwha Life, that's not the kind of team fighting that one would expect to take, especially not when you're so massive in the current game.
Hanwha Life do have a nice amount of pick potential with Thresh and Talia, and follow up from there with Olaf, Zaya, and of course the flank from Vlad. But as you mentioned before, fighting in, you know, closed corridors, like really narrow hallways on the map, you have to be super careful against not only Rumble, but you got the Gragas in there who's got a lot of AoE. You have Braum, which is very obvious as well. Kai'Sa to get into your back line. If you're against a wall, you're going to be easily hit by the Kiana ultimate. Basically, everything is screaming at you, do not fight in a narrow part of the map. But they have this pick comp around Baron, so they're trying to get the picks, but then going over the wall is very scary and can be damaging, as Key did figure out in the last fight. And it looks like Hanwha Life have kind of taken that to heart now. They're moving in here, looking for a pick onto Cover, as he is able to dash away.
Well, there's lots of posturing happening right now. Hanwha Life, they can definitely play Wars of Attrition. With the triple ocean, they
Oh boy.
are all clumping up right now. Now, if they go in and the equalizer's cast defensively, Kai'Sa, she has, you know, there's been nothing prestigious about her this game, but Kai'Sa on that prestige skin, able to shred through the front line with the 2 core items completed. And so the Rumble-Kai'Sa dynamic is something that Hanwha Life have to respect right now. As Hanwha Life's approach to this. Yeah.
Really nice. Gonna catch Sohan on the flank. I feel like APK is reading Hanwha really well.
Hanwha Life are giving me their LCK vibe. They have triple Ocean Dragon. They can start up the Baron with 2 members while allowing 3 other ones to position properly if they want to take a teamfight angle that would be potentially favorable to them. Because ultimately what they need to do is attack at a concave so that Rumble doesn't have very good option selection for the equalizer. Flanks are obviously cool as well, but pretty hard as red team in the Season 9 meta to realistically get flank wards off.
Yeah, and that's why we saw him kind of just running around where they had some control wards to try to avoid vision so that he could go for that flank rather than teleport. He's got his teleport now. Looking to go down on the bottom side, you'll notice that Ixu, even after getting another wave, still not level 14. Sohan has been level 15 for a while. So up 2 levels essentially in the top lane matchup is Sohan.
Weaver's Wall.
Yeah, they have a Braum.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You ever seen...
Hanwha Life was like, oh, yeah. I don't know.
Wouldn't it be cool if there was like a Talia skin where she rode a train, like a bullet train?
Wouldn't
like
it be cool if there were more than 2 Talia skins?
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm a big Talia player myself. And there's the Samsung Galaxy skin, which I think is Crown. And then there's the Frost one, which is the one that Tempt is using. And that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice.
And then sometimes I'll like go to the mid lane, I'll play Ahri, and she has like 18 skins or something.
Believe that Riot Blastoise, or is it Blastoise? Now I feel really bad. He's an excellent man.
Now you're making me question.
Right?
Yeah.
I think his last name is Blau.
I'm pretty sure it's Blastoise.
No, his actual last name. But
yeah,
pay attention to the fight.
Sorry. Okay, well, Sohan here in a bit of trouble. That's not the flank he was looking for. Kiana ultimate not going to do that much, but Kakao not really able to get in there. The equalizer value is not that much. This cover trying to go for the assassination, but he ends up assassinating himself as Secret nearly goes down from the poke. Kakao not able to go ahead and steal that one with the barrel. And Hanwha Life get the pick and the dragon and are feeling pretty good.
All right, well, after that song and a dance that just happened, not really quite sure what to make out from that. Cover is dead for another 20 seconds. Triple Ocean Dragon with the mountain. Finally, they're going to start up the Baron. And with Rumble missing Equalizer, there should be no real way for APK to stop this.
Cal was thinking about it there with Predator, but does not happen with the Talia wall. He's able to push him away. And yeah, Hanwha Life seems to have this policy of we need a mountain and so much control to get that.
This whole team fight is just so bizarre. The way that Cover and Kakao both go in, Cover whips his ultimate yet again. The whole thing is so disjointed in their approach to the team fight. You can see that even just to the north of this, APK, they pick up the Scuttle Crab, I believe, but the whole team was just off kilter in terms of decisions and what they wanted to do there. So the next team fight is probably going to decide the game. If APK could manage to win it, they should be able to likely be able to have enough control to get the Infernal Dragon and then carry through from there as Kai'Sa, she's at the 3-item mark. Rumble, I'm assuming, is going for, I would hope Leandri's, but we don't know. Blasting Wand and Amp Tome, it could just be completed into a Void Staff.
Isn't Rumble one of those champs that scales really well with penetration?
Yeah.
Even for the Merc Treads this time around. And he completed the Morellos, which, I mean, makes sense. You're going up against a Vlad, so this time it's actually not that bad as Kakao is looking for the engage. This Lantern Not sure. The stun is going to land, and finally Cover's able to get something done as Bono will be picked. But at the same time, we do have Sowon down in the bottom lane. Gonna block another wall. But still, the Baron push is on. The pick only onto Bono was not enough, as Hanwha Life are still in control of the push.
Sowon getting quite a bit of work done down there in the bottom by himself. Hanwha Life have to be really careful.
It is still a 4-on-5, but you can see that APK are not confident to take the fight.
Are they gonna surrender double inhibitor?
Looks like it.
What?
4v5 before the Infernal spawns. This is the best time you're gonna get. Unless they just want to say, okay, we'll push out mid and bot and then maybe fight over the Infernal. I think that's really your only other option if you have intention on winning the game. You okay over there, Alas?
I'm trying to take it all in. I'm trying to really...
This is the promotion tournament.
I can't break it down. I can't. There's nothing to really say. It is the most bizarre and peculiar decision to do what they just did. They're gonna surrender their top tier 2 now as well. As Baron's gonna fade in 20 seconds, so this is gonna be the final wave that they have to utilize it. Nothing's really gonna happen. And now, the only upside to having the the inhibitors down is that the super minions are coming in and they're behind on base levels, but a 5 versus 4 is probably more advantageous than waiting a couple of base levels and then fighting down an Infernal and then another Baron.
Yeah, I mean, like, when are they gonna go? What is the trigger for them to actually get in there? And it looks like now is 3 members gonna line up for that one. And that was about as good as it gets, but where is the follow-up?
Well, Kakao wasn't able to get that good of a cast. Now he's just running back and forth. It's like when the second baseman and the third baseman, they try to, you know, throw the ball to one another. They tag the guy trying to steal a base.
Well, Cover got up, and he actually gets in the back and gets a kill somehow, but the rest of his team is very much dead. With the Vladimir in the back line at the same time. Looks like we're going 3 games here in this first series as APK. Fantastic first game. Kind of a horrendous one from Hanwha Life. And I feel like we've kind of swapped places now here in game number 2. So I'm just going to push in everybody on the side of Hanwha Life is so far ahead at this point. They're going to kill the Nexus, and we are going to go to a game 3 to decide who's going up to the winners match and who will have to face the losers for tomorrow's games.
Well, I don't know really what to predict for game number 3. This is 2 games in a row now where the mid-jungle duo dynamic for both parties has been extremely lackluster when it comes to aggression and controlling anything. And in addition to that, the one thing that has remained solid and stable, however, was that Songyun and Ki did perform really well in the laning phase straight up without jungler influence. And that's something that they can probably look towards again in game number 3. Hanwha Life had a better team composition the later that it went. And the mid-game breakpoints for APK didn't really come online the way that one would expect, as everyone is grouping around looking at the replay, but honestly there was a million problems that game. One of the things that I do have to say is standing out is APK do not seem to know how to team play at all.
No.
So, barring a massive edge like in game number 1, I can't imagine how they're supposed to be Hanwha in game number 3.
Hanwha are definitely favored after that one. After game number 1, we didn't know exactly what to expect, but it's, yeah, I mean, game number 1 and 2, quite sloppy. Hanwha Life do end up finishing that one off. A lot of damage in the end from the side of APK, but none of that was effective for them to actually come back. The 80 carry difference in this game was massive, and cover was basically a non-factor in so many of these team fights. Kakao also without the huge lead that he had in game number 1, not really able to follow up the early game with much. Had that weird hesitation moment up in the top lane, if you'll remember. So at the end of the day, that does end to APK going down, and Hanwha Life do earn themselves another chance to win this one and prove that they are the team that deserve to stay in the LCK and go to the winners match tomorrow. So we're going to have another quick break, guys, and when we get back, we are going to make it into our third game of this first best of 3. APK, they've got to clean things up to have a chance. We'll see if they do it in the next one. Welcome back, guys. We're here at the tie score of 1-1 for Hanwha versus APK. It's me, Valdez, with LS. And, well, the games haven't been the highest quality League of Legends we've ever had. The teams are fighting back and forth, and Hanwha actually looked like they showed up today, which is good. They were sleeping in Game 1. I know it's a little bit early here in Korea. We started at 2 p.m., which is way before most pro gamers wake up, so...
that is not true.
Yeah, I know. Just a little bit too early for everybody to come down, and maybe they were sleeping, and that did lead to the loss. But either way, they looked much better in Game 2, and I'm expecting them to take Game 3 because of APK's apparent team fighting challenges that they've been facing so far.
The thing is that in game number 3, Hanwha Life, the bot lane is all that we really have to pay attention to. Do they get ganked and set behind it? Because that is the only way that Trigger, who has been triggering me throughout the 2 games so far, is probably going to be able to get away with not getting semi-flame horizon. And that really is going to be Hanwha Life's way to victory, potentially, is just by doing target bans directed not necessarily at the meta. I don't think that they need to do that against APK, who look to really just be floundering around when it comes to team fighting capabilities. As Alawi in the window, Aatrox in the door.
Skarner on the turn.
Skarner, you know what? No, we gotta come up with better names. It's the window because it's the first thing that you can see. You can't see through the door until it's open.
Shouldn't the door be when the whole ban pick is done?
Nope.
The door's open now.
Alright, you know what? Akali going to be banned away by APK. We'll see if they actually continue to ban the LeBlanc or if they're only concerned with that as a counter pick. But the weird thing is that if you're banning LeBlanc as a counter pick, it means that you're choosing, or you're intending to choose a mid lane that LeBlanc would be good against, which in and of itself is a very weird way to approach the draft. So, Gragas now. This is the kind of target that I just mentioned. Just take away potentially comfortable things from APK. You don't have to worry about the Kiana after Cover's performance.
Absolutely. And keep in mind also this Olaf ban. You don't see that all the time, but Bono is a big Olaf player. And they are going to take that one away. It does leave stuff open. The Yuumi once again available. I was kind of surprised that Skarner never got picked by Kakao, because he was 4-0 on Skarner in the playoffs of Challengers. But this time he's not going to get a chance because they took it away from him, and then first pick Renekton.
Elise now being hovered, perhaps as a means to prevent the Renekton Elise from being picked up by Hanwha Life. See what they're going to accompany that with. I'm not... Ixu does not strike me as a Jace player. And so I'm not assuming to see Elise Jace go up against the Renekton, perhaps up in top lane. And Jace is a player I would not expect either team to really pick up. He's one of those champions that you really have to have a proficiency on. Xayah picked up by APK, so there's Lucian for Songyun.
Lucian is back. Remember, this was the same response to Xayah Rakan that Songyun did make in game number 1. The question is, do they pick their support here, or just pick up that LeBlanc that was available for the first time here in game 3?
Now, APK, there's a lot of LeBlanc counters that can exist. The problem is just outright picking something like Kassadin isn't necessarily super easy, because we've seen that teams in recent weeks, or, well, last split or so, have been totally fine swapping around, and LeBlanc can definitely go top lane. So you better make sure that you have both areas covered before you choose a straight-up hard counter inside of the lane.
Karma got picked up here. I wouldn't be surprised if after game 2, Cover's just on cover duty.
Yeah, he's trying to cover his teammates.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just sit there and don't die, please.
Yeah.
Put a shield on us, and we'll do the rest.
Jarvan now banned away by APK. They're just trying to remove aggressive types of junglers. Maybe we'll even see Lee Sin taken away. Does look like they're just trying to restrict early game power, and Olaf has already been banned.
Speaking of which, they ban away the Lee Sin and the Thresh on the other side. Always got to remember with Karma that one of the good things about her is that she can be triple flexed or quadruple flexed, but obviously with Xayah in the game, it's pretty obvious that she's not going into the AD carry role. So APK will have some ability to pick Poppy. Okay.
Now, I don't know if this is going to be Poppy top or if it'll be Poppy support. But Poppy is pretty good against some of the champions already on Hanwha. I think Poppy's sleeper, by the way. I just want to throw that out there.
Really?
Poppy jungle. Well,
Ixu's also been sleeping on it because he hasn't played a single game of it in this season.
I'm really not sure why they would just continue on with the aggression and pick up the Xin Zhao, because now they're playing into APK's hands and they're actually allowing the team composition to recalibrate. If Tank Elise still existed in any form or off tank, now would be the time to just be like, okay, I guess that's what I'm going to do, because the enemy team basically just told me that they can't go beyond 3 items. And so as long as we defend and don't bleed the game out by 25 minutes, it becomes impossible for us not to just attack move through them due to their excellent drafting ability by walking straight into the Karma Poppy. Truly
Hey,
spectacular.
it takes skill, right?
It does. As Alistar now being hovered in response to the Pike being picked up. Hanwha Life are fully all in. This is an all-in pre-flop, Valdez. We don't normally
get
to
the flop
see
already.
We did have
yeah, the third ban. Yeah, that was. Oh
this
no,
is
the
very
first ban.
Kingzone-esque. Or actually no, I'll do you one better. Sandbox.
Yeah. Yeah, it does feel like Sandbox. They're going to get in your face and say, play with us or don't play at all. But
well, APK, all they have to do is just hold on. That's the entire objective for them right now. The plane's taken off. All they have to do is manage to weather the turbulence. And then they'll face Jinair tomorrow. That's the... Because Jinair's going to win later on today. I just spoiled that for you. But I really, really hate team compositions like this. Let's take a look at it. Lucian Pike, LeBlanc, Xin Zhao, and Renekton. Full-on aggression. This is like in one of those movies where you see a reactor's about to like start and go off or something and it just fizzles.
Yeah.
That's what can potentially happen here. Or it goes off and there's a big explosion. So, very volatile type of team composition. And really, the onus is on APK to botch this, because in Season 9, with all the early vision and the way that lanes can be played around and whatnot, it's very easy for the Poppy, Elise, Karma, Xayah, and Alistar to do just that, hang on to 3 items, and the game just becomes so much easier.
Well, they've struggled with stuff like that before. Let's see if they can make it happen here going into game number 3. The APK fans, not sure if you guys on the stream heard them, as there are not many here to support them, but if they do make it into the LCK, no doubt they will gain fans quickly, as has happened to all the other teams that have qualified into the LCK from challengers. And this is really the big moment for everybody on a challenger team. You don't want to be stuck in challengers where there's few viewers,
미니언들이 생성되었습니다.
even less money. You know, you have lower salaries. You're just, you know, everything's worse down in Challenger, basically. Sometimes the players can be better, such as Griffin, Damwon, Sandbox, and they eventually do make it up where they deserve and belong to be. But that's what APK is trying to prove to us right now, that they belong here. Game number 2 did not tell me that at all. Game number 1, I was like, interesting, okay. But it did also feel kind of like Hanwha Life dropping the ball. So this is what I want from game number 3. I want APK to come in here and actually prove that they deserve to make it. Otherwise, I won't be looking for their names tomorrow in the winners or losers match.
Oh, I really like what Hanwha at least were attempting to do right here, but it is spotted out. And Bono now going to share some of the XP. So, rather than just be an entire negative Nancy, or negative Nick, if that's what, you know, look at that. Look at how that works.
Yeah.
I will say that Hanwha Life, they do team fight better than APK. They do have the better bot lane and seemingly better mid laner. And so, there is an argument where picking a team composition like this, in this kind of a dynamic, okay, well, it's not super terrible. Normally, if you're considerably better than your opposition, team comps like this are really a way that you can draft inside of a best of 3 or a best of 5 to try to set some pacing or tempo inside of it. Now in match point, maybe APK is a little bit more nervous. They're more prone to make mistakes or something. Perhaps that could be the thought process. But traditionally, if teams are of even footing or even skill, this type of draft out of Hanwha is going to be extremely volatile.
Absolutely. We saw on the side of Hanwha Life that there's actually not a lot of games on the champions that they're playing, but we actually have 2 first picks here from Summer for APK, the Poppy and the Karma here in the mid lane. So new stuff working out for them, and we talked about how we really just have to look at the bottom lane. The draft changed things a little bit because of the waiting game you talked about for APK, but that does factor into the bottom lane as well. They can't just get dumpstered down here, right? It has to be a little bit close. You know, if they get behind a little bit and then it gets to the late game and they can come back with their comp, that's okay. But if they're losing every trade and, you know, we almost have another Flame Horizon and no ganks happen in the bottom lane, that's not really okay. Then you do stand to lose in a big way, as already 3 items have been taken here by the Klepto in the mid lane. Kakao is going to be spotted on this ward.
Remember, the Elise, she's under no obligation to do anything, so I actually don't like that Kakao didn't just elect into constantly playing defensive, doing match and counter ganks. Instead, looking for a very wonky kind of play here.
This is not what you see every day.
Oh,
as the Cocoon is going to go wide. Nice dodge by Bono, who's trying to turn it around and bait him into the block as he has to flash away. But so does Kakao. Hook comes in, but there's no follow-up damage, and in goes APK. They're going to pick up that first kill in the enemy jungle as the aggressive move actually works out.
It ended up working out, and it should have been even better had Kakao landed the Cocoon.
Yeah.
So, the fact that Hanwha Life were handshaking the whole event despite Kakao did make it out, or Bono did make it out, is very surprising. And now coming back down here into bottom lane, TRtrebuC had actually had a wave coming into them that they could have frozen with Elise in close proximity on the bottom side and Songyun missing 60% of his mana, but instead choose to be very generous and just reset the wave for Songyun and Ki. It would be absolutely disastrous to freeze in front of the turret and zone the Lucian out of XP and minion gold. Yeah.
I mean, you would only do that if you want to.
If you want to win.
If you consider winning, like, your objective, but not, you know, not every team is. Everybody's got different interests, LS, you know. Don't just judge them straight out. Spano's coming in for an interesting gank. I don't know if he was spotted actually, but Cover is gonna read into this and well, gets hit by that chain, and you know what comes next. Nice little cocoon, but Electrocute proc is going to be enough as Key is continuing on the chase here with this Predator, but it does not work out as the Elise will get to safety.
Cover has teleport, so it's not going to be the end of the world for him in this particular instance. As Ixu is only down 3 CS in the Poppy Renekton matchup. He's doing just fine right now. Tempt out of teleport, and so I'm really curious why he didn't attempt to follow, or why Cover didn't attempt to follow Tempt. And even if the argument is that, well, what if he and Bono are just looming somewhere around? Well, now you have a bigger problem as to why is the jungle mid dynamic duo from Cover and Kakao not recognizing, hey, Tempt needs to recall, he doesn't have teleport, he's out of mana, can we lock him in the lane here so I can get a couple 100 gold advantage and some XP? As we jump into a replay from moments ago, Kakao missed the cocoon, but Bono was really playing with fire. Tempt stays here, lands the chain, and then he alone was not able to do anything. Songyun even got pulled over during this whole ordeal. Right here, Tempt expends his flash. Cover, nothing really he could do in mid. He needed to crash that wave in, but required him to be overextended. But overall, the lane management by both teams in this game has been pretty poor, with top lane being on an island.
Yeah, they've just been hanging out there up in the top side. Kakao not really coming bottom side to help out at all. By the way, he just ran by Gilbert the Ward in the enemy jungle. That did not get, or rather in his jungle. Enemy jungle for Gilbert, of course, who is still alive there and well in the bush. So Kakao did not clear that control ward out. Just going to give a nice amount of vision and say that Elise is down in the bottom side. And so you can play a bit more carefully, or perhaps get some vision down.
Some trades happening up here in top lane between Ixu and Sohwan. Just basically playing ping pong back and forth. Sunfire Cape going to be the first item.
Cover is going to get hooked up, but the slow comes in. Kakao thinking about it, but Mono is nearby. They decide to play defensively, which ends up being the right choice in the end.
That's all that they need to do right now. If you are APK, just sit back.
Just don't die.
Defensive control wards on your side of the river that spots out the Xin Zhao or the Pike if they ever attempt to roam or do anything. Oh man.
3-on-1 up here in the top side, stunned forever as Sohwan took a one-way trip into the river. That's not a road he wanted to go down, never again, he'll say. As well, when you get at least Alistair and Poppy against a wall, you're not going to have a fun time. Does mean with Alistair gone that Hanwha Life can push down on the bottom side, but did they over push as Ixu is coming in for a gank, pushing Key back? Do they have the damage? Key doesn't have his dash, and he will go down. Even if he did have his dash, the Poppy was there and was able to shut that possibility down. So another win goes the way of APK.
And, I mean, here's what's going on, too. The best lane for Hanwha Life, Songyun and Key, they're having these curveballs thrown their way. Look at Trigger. He's down in the CS department, was even down in lane phase control. We saw Secret and Trigger botch the lane manipulation that was so freely given to them just moments prior. And so, completely different caliber of bot lanes, but it just doesn't matter right now as Trigger, just like in game number 1, he's getting these edges so that he can go toe-to-toe with Songyun down there in the bot lane. And the team compositions being the way that they are, the onus was on Hanwha Life to make things happen, and that was why I criticized so heavily the Xin Zhao pick when they did lock it in into Poppy. That should have been dissuading this type of play, and now here we find ourselves in 10.5 minutes. They're only down 300-400 gold, but there's a lot of other problems that aren't just currently
nice stun against the wall. Ixu First time on Poppy here in summer, but this guy knows how to play that champion. He is a presence all over the map as well. And the Xin Zhao, you were talking about it into the composition, but especially now getting shut down in his own jungle and at the Rift Herald, this time dying, is going to be pretty much a non-factor against Kakao, who is once again 2-0-1.
More and more edges just going APK's way. 2.5 minutes, or just under 3 minutes, I'm sorry, until Mountain Dragon ends up coming up. As Secret going to not attempt to do anything there to Songyun.
Actually, the ability from the W from Lucian, stopping the Moby Boots from getting Secret the speed he needs to close the distance, as Bono really trying to make this happen here. Featherstorm going to be used and heal, but can he flash away from this one? The answer will be yes. Secret still with his flash and his ultimate available. Will be totally fine to get out of that one, but the gank does blow everything away from Trigger in the bot lane.
Hanwha Life now moving Tempt and Bono into the blue side jungle. They're looking keen on trying to steal away the blue buff at least. They do have CS advantages in every single lane. So that is one of their saving graces. It's also why the gold score at the top is still as close as it is. As we take a look at this replay from one of the weirdest angles. What?
Yeah.
Cocoon landing very simply. Well,
Rift
APK now,
Heralds.
yeah, they're gonna give all their gold. Now, I actually would like the gold thrown more into Poppy here, just because she's such an integral piece to the team composition, given that she shuts down everyone.
Literally.
And if she's tanky enough, she can go 1 versus 2 in a lot of situations and basically be the unkillable wall, but instead, they're allocating gold into their AD carry, who has already shown that in several games in the series so far that not the most well usage of the gold.
Yeah, I mean, he just didn't look up to par with the other players on the Rift. There's one way to say it. Ixu is going to flash away from that one. As the push.
Oh, so on.
Yeah, looking to continue up here on the top side. The flash on in. Secret's going for it. He's got his ultimate, and he will set up that kill. As Sohan way too far down the lane there with no inner turret, but he is going to go down. We have a Mountain Drake about to spawn here as well in 20 seconds. We'll see if APK can get back, try to secure that objective.
LeBlanc is recalling, and that's going to mean that with 5 seconds until the Mountain, maybe she has to expend her teleport. Otherwise, surely they should lose out on the vision control around right side river. Although Kakao recalling as well. Let's see what he picks up in Oblivion Orb. And so he is dealing true damage to virtually everyone. Pike, 39 MR, 33 pen right now for Kakao. So essentially 6 magic resist for him. True damage onto Lucian for the Elise. And LeBlanc is no different, nor is... well, Renekton's probably a little bit better. But this is quite problematic. Now, this is a byproduct of the mid-reset timing. And this is why the tempo is so important. Now, in game number 1 and 2, we saw that APK, they're weaker at teamfighting. They do take considerably longer than one would expect to find their stride inside of a team fight and close out a game. The issue here is that this is pretty Annie-level team composition in terms of Karma with her RE and Poppy just running in at the opponent. It's really simple to conduct itself, and it's pretty hard to mess up. Given that also Hanwha Life, they don't have a lot of smoke and mirrors outside of LeBlanc distortion play. They're going to be running head first into APK, making it even easier. Have you ever stood still and cast Tibbers?
Well, not really.
That's why you're in Platinum.
What?
What?
No, in Plat, we flash Tibbers and miss. Of course, like, oh boy, Songyun, instant cleanse. Can he get out of this one is the question, though. The culling is going to come down, and now Ixu has to back away with the Pike coming on in, and he will be sacrificed to the gods there, but Pike also is going to go down as Kakao makes it there in the trade. First 1-for-1 at the end of the day.
1-for-1 benefits APK. Generally, when you're the team that scales better, any sort of trades are going to be more beneficial unless there's some other dynamic, such as like a Dark Harvest or Magi, something of that nature going over, but none of those side quests are really present inside of this game. So take a look at this. The cleanse by Songyun being used right there. Ixu just charging him down. The culling came out, did a lot of damage. Key comes over, gets the kill with the Pike, which I guess actually I wasn't mentioning. So it's not quite a 1-for-1, Valdez, you know, the,
Yeah, you get some extra
it's a
gold.
3-for-1.
Good old Pirate says, well, Secret, yeah, you're dead. Just running in from the mid lane where they saw him and had vision, and where he doesn't have vision in the river. That is a move you do not want to make. Just getting caught out there. Just his first death of the game, so not the worst thing in the world.
300 gold advantage right now for APK. Another Mountain Dragon, though, coming up. And it lines up so nicely with the Baron. If they can just end up getting that, it's going to be really hard for Hanwha Life, because all of a sudden, two-manning Baron becomes a very easy possibility for APK, even though their team composition traditionally would ask for the majority of the members to be present.
Yeah, you're going to need, most of the time, the damage from Xayah and Elise, the shielding, the tankiness from the support, Poppy. But this does open up options for them, as everybody's kind of traveling around as a team right now, trying to get some really deep vision in the enemy jungle. Like all 5 members down here in the bottom side for red and blue, actually, right now. Evading it, and well, the spiders are very good at protecting you from certain things like hooks. So Kakao is going to be totally fine. And now another rotation in the mid lane. They're able to get here first, and with the Karma already doing a ton of damage, looking for the... What? How did he even get locked up on that wall? Not sure how that one happened, but he still got killed, and they got the turret. And APK, they don't have to be aggressive, but the aggressive rotations into picks is working for them so far.
Well, APK now are barreling down mid. It's going to be unfathomable for Hanwha Life to beat it, because what do you do when Karma presses R and then E? That's it requires some skill right there. You're gonna need the index finger and
that's
then the
two
middle.
letters.
That is 2 letters.
I don't know if I can handle that, you know.
Now, see, when Karma presses R and then E, Hanwha Life actually goes to the ER. That was a bad one. You like that one?
Yeah.
That was so terrible.
Earlier on, you
weren't
were
supposed to like
you were
that.
saying,
I was testing you.
yeah, it was a fake laugh. Sorry.
I
know. Yeah. I'm sorry. Earlier, you were talking about an attempt on tempt, and I was like, by cover, and I'm like, you know why it didn't work? It's because he's not a tempt, which is attempt. Get it?
Oh man.
Oh, it stopped the dash, and that's why it kept him against the wall. It looked really wonky when he kind of like teleported back into the wall, but I get that.
Athene's Unholy Grail on the Karma, as well as Morel and Nomicon picked up by the Elise, so. You know, do you remember those images every time you do something, like a kitten passes away or something? You remember those meme images?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to bring them back or something, because Morello.
Every time you build Morello.
Yeah. Oh man.
The poor Iron 4 player like goes 0 and 25.
Oh man.
Just making the riff worse for everyone.
An Iron 1 player fails their promos.
Ah, yeah. Well, we're getting the Mountain Drake fight. As you mentioned, Hanwha Life really can't afford to just let this one go. So they're doing the right thing. Nice flank here from Spirit. A ton of damage going into him, though. And he is going to get assassinated, but so will the Renekton go down. As Sangin is going to be popped out of that fight, 1-for-1 again. He does have the reset. Let's see if he can make this happen.
Karma, I'm not sure where her mantra is at right now.
Nice amount of burst damage, though, from her, as that was the clone. I believe she used the RQ that time around, and so that did mean that everybody on the side of Hanwha Life did have to back, but that shield is generally what you do want to go for. At the end of the day, though, APK still make the play work, and they pick up the second Mountain Drake of the game.
Yeah, they're in the driver's seat by so much right now. We take a look at the replay. Not the best engage. We've been criticizing APK for this throughout the series. That's 3 kills that went the way of Hanwha Life right there, and so APK, they end up actually trading down in the end. Pyke's nice champion. He's actually keeping them in this, in terms of the gold.
Good old Pyke feeding his teammates.
Spear of Sojin almost completed now on So On, as APK probably rode the best dragon of the game, given the current state.
Oh, trying to help out cover. The damage isn't enough, and the tether goes down.
Now Poppy's going to try to chase this very large crocodile.
Poppy's fast.
She is fast.
Question is, does she have enough damage before the turret? And it is taking a long time. That Dominus really helping out. And he gets out of there with the dash.
You can just see, though, there's no real way for Renekton to do anything. And so he's been basically neutralized in the side lane now as Ixu looking to try to get this turret.
Oh,
he does get it.
The Demolish Brock was pretty nice.
I don't know, Valdez. It really is looking like APK is going to win this game. They're only going to get tankier and stronger as the game goes on. And a lot of the future items that are being picked up after Renekton completes the Spear of Sojin, it's all going to basically be luxurious. Or not luxurious, but it's not going to alter how the team is going to conduct itself. It's not going to alter how the champions approach team fights by any means. And it doesn't change like a split push dynamic. So,
well, that's probably a dead LeBlanc there. So much CC being run into that wizard as down she will go. And literally nobody can do anything to this Poppy, who has so much movement speed, unlimited armor, just runs straight into them. And the entire team of Hanwha has to run away.
Well, that's going to be Baron going over to APK. And with it, they should be able to raise inhibitor turrets for sure after the recall. Let's take a look at what items they get. Zeal now picked up. A lot of control wards as well. Karma just going to get more obnoxious in the future as Poppy, I mentioned this in the draft, she shuts down so many components of the Hanwha Life team composition.
Yeah.
And they're all just running for the hills.
All 5 champions on the side of Hanwha have a dash, and you have a Poppy. I feel like, you know, I was
Poppy's
mentioning
sleeper.
Poppy's really good.
Poppy is insane. 80
Especially
support and jungle.
80.
Or not 80, I'm sorry. Top support and jungle.
Okay.
80 Poppy in the jungle.
Yeah. So she is going to survive there even without the flash, because her one ability shuts down everybody on the enemy team. You know, Ixu has not played Poppy at all this entire summer. Just never thought it was a reason to do it. But he saw the first 3 picks, which were Renekton, Luce, and LeBlanc, and he's like, well, you know what's perfect against this Poppy? And then Hanwha Life, the absolute 5 heads, pick Xin Zhao and Pyke.
Yeah, that's definitely, we're going to need some, that is definitely 5 head.
Yeah.
If there's any truers.
I mean, that makes me literally forehead laugh, right? Speaking of heads. And it just feels like APK won in the draft, as you were talking about. And that's been a sticking point for Hanwha Life. They've been struggling with it in the LCK. And now again, they're going to go down as down will go the Renekton, and the rest of the team with it. Secret is going to ult there at the end. No damage can be done to that front line. We have accelerated to the late game already because APK have Baron and they are very far ahead. They can TP now onto the minions and try to push in to end this game very early with that Baron buff that they did pick up. Tempt desperately trying to do the damage just once to clear out the wave. But he can't really do it. There's a giant Poppy in the way. The Pike's going to die, and a big engage now from Secret is going to shut this down. And ladies and gentlemen, we have our first challenger team in the winners match tomorrow as APK Prince are going to shut down Hanwha Life in 3 games.
And they found a lot of aid inside of the drafts. Because in game number 3, it was so hard to lose after the early game.
Yeah.
Because Hanwha Life, they came into that draft and they go, well, we're going to open Renekton, so it has a theme, which is aggression. It has to have some sort of early mid-game component to it. And then after APK responds with Elise Xayah, they go Lucian LeBlanc, basically cementing themselves in a full-on aggressive type of team composition. Needs to get ahead, can't go late game, can't even really go mid-game if it doesn't get some acceleration early.
Yeah, you need to win the early game.
After Poppy comes in, like you said, they just go, yeah, we're going to get Xin Zhao and Pyke in here because we're not all in enough. It was the most mono-red team composition I've seen in LCK. The worst draft I've seen in 2019.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
Giving it the title.
It's official. We have figured it out. We found the worst draft. And throw this pick ban sheet in the garbage because that's kind of where that one belonged. And Hanwha Life, like even in the bottom lane, Songyun and he once again were winning to start it off, but a couple of things went wrong. Like Hanwha Life as individual players looked like the better team.
Yeah.
They were in the LCK, but the draft just, after 15 minutes where they didn't get a lead, it was just so obvious that they were screwed.
This is a really big problem. I said it last time I was on the cast, but it's probably going to be one of the very important things here in the promotion tournament as well. Teams of similar skill, the drafts are so important. Any time you can recalibrate your draft to get a slight leg up in terms of the scaling dynamic, you should always look to capitalize on it because the pressure or the making it so that it's necessary to get advantages so that you need to do it is so bizarre given how the early games and mid games can play out and with early game vision and the overall growth of pro play over the years. So here we went to 3 games and we outlined what the drafts could do at every stage of it, and while there's chances for Hanwha Life to get edges in this game number 3 through the Xin Zhao, it didn't happen, and now it feels bad.
Yeah, I think it came down to the fact that one team has a player with a ponytail and the other team did not.
Oh, is that it?
So the ponytail buff ended up being the thing that pushed them over the edge and had them win the game. This again says, APK, I love you. This is now the start. And, well, seems like it is, as APK, against my prediction, end up taking a 2-1 victory over Hanwha. I guess I cursed them to have terrible drafts. The play in Game 1 was sleepy. It wasn't that great. Game 2, they came back, and I was like, oh, okay, things are going as expected. And then Game 3, it's like, they're just left helpless, like drowning in the ocean. You know, what are you going to do when you get behind with that draft?
And you know, what I really liked, though, is that we did get to see challengers still sort of be challengers. And that we got to see new picks. We got to see Alawi come out.
Yeah.
We saw the Poppy, which isn't necessarily new. There are some Poppy picks that happen, and
don't
she
see
is
that
popping.
much Rumble.
We don't see that much Rumble, and it's really nice to see an LCK team get smacked with their absolutely ancient meta. And so even here in the highlights, Bono, he should have died here every day of the week. And then Hanwha Life, still thinking that it was an okay play. They were so far behind on the jump to
Songyun
this play.
wasn't even there.
Songyun wasn't even there. Not much could happen. Now, right here, they kill Karma, but Karma has teleport. in this play. So even though they kill her, Karma almost pushed in the whole wave, not really getting zoned out of any minions. Just going to come right back into the lane. Ixu teleports in this play, and it's just really hard. It's so hard to play out Hanwha Life's team comp. God, I keep harping on about it. Never gonna let I'm never gonna give you up, Valdez. I'm never gonna let you down.
Thank you. Yeah. You wouldn't want to run around and hurt me, right?
Yeah, I would not.
Desert me? Right?
I would never do that.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. I just wanted to cover all my bases. But yeah, I mean, it was, as you said, as you coined it, the worst draft of 2019 here in Korea. So it deserves to be harped on about, you know? When something amazingly great happens, everybody talks about it for a long time. But when something amazingly awful and just horrible, like horrid, you know, happens, people also talk about it for a long time. So I'm sure we will as well. But yeah, I mean, Ixu just ended up being the key. He controlled this game. If I had to give the MVP to one guy, it would be him for saying, hey, pick me Poppy, and then also, hey, I'm gonna go even in the top lane against Renekton. I'll neutralize him. Then I'm gonna teleport to the bot lane that's having trouble, and I'm gonna shut him down. And then I'm going to engage like a god every single team fight and never die. The guy was just controlling it from minute one, from the pick into his actual play. So shout out to Ixu. He started out as Ixu, went to Bitcoin trading, went to Ursu, and now he's back as Ixu, which I think is the best version of him.
엔드웨이브 야 집중 야 계속 말해봐 나 지금 갔다가 떼줄게
오케이 웨이브 들어 잘 떴어.
You can see that
나 떼줄게
they are talking a lot.
뺐었어
안돼 너는 나 백분이 잡을게.
야 타워만
So the communication issues we were thinking about, maybe it's a factor of too much talking.
더블 막아줄게 르블랑 더블 막아줄게
Something like that.
르블랑 더블 지금 한 턴은 붙어
오케이. 바이크.
야 타워 쳐봐
Notice how it's Ixu talking the most. Definitely one of our older players.
아 뭔데 수고했어
Well done, guys.
아 이겼다.
And yeah, and Ixu kept on saying he can consistently block LeBlanc, and look at that alpha bar from the Poppy.
Anyone's
This
watching
game was
this,
all about the Poppy.
Poppy is a great champion right now. Able to be played in 3 different roles, as I already mentioned, top, jungle, and support.
We always talk about flex power.
Yeah, and that's another great thing about her, is her flex power.
Exactly.
Some champions are made more powerful due to their ability to be flexed, and thus alter some of the draft states.
Aatrox, Karma, you know, even Renekton now. We talked about this in Game 1. We've got it figured out.
80 Poppy jungle. You need to get on that.
AD Poppy?
Yeah.
Interesting. So you don't just go tank, you actually like you become
80 Poppy.
You become like a quality ganker,
Trinity,
I suppose.
Yeah, Trinity Force Yumus.
Oh, that sounds pleasant. Might see that in solo queue later, but wow, okay, APK. So for you guys who are here and you're like, what the hell is going on? Why is LCK on a Monday? You know, what are they doing? We are doing the promotion tournaments for 2 teams from Challengers and 2 teams from LCK to decide who is going to take the 2 slots at the bottom of the LCK. Today we're playing 2 best-of-3s. Whoever wins that best-of-3 goes on to the winner's match tomorrow, which is a best-of-5, and whoever loses goes on to the loser's best-of-5 tomorrow. The winner of the winner's best-of-5 goes up to LCK, secures a spot. Loser goes back down to Challenger, and then we have a final day where there's 1 best-of-5 to decide the second team in the LCK between the 2 teams that are left over. So we're not done today. We have 1 more best-of-3. It is going to be Jin Air up against Team Dynamics, and that is going to be a fun one, so you don't want to miss that.
When is the last time you saw Jin Air?
Well, I mean, they've won games.
No. Win a series.
Win a series? I guess it was last promotion tournament. It actually was, because they went 0-18, so.
It's time for history to repeat itself.
You think so?
I think so.
You think that the series win is going to happen
I
again?
think today's the day Jin Air's flies.
You think this is their lucky tournament,
Yeah.
the promotion tournament?
Yeah.
Maybe this is where they stay. You know, just live in the promotion tournament.
They're the gatekeepers.
Yeah, they are. They actually are. At the end of the day, they were in spring. We'll see if they can be in summer. No interviews today, guys. We're just going to go straight to a break and then on to the next one, which should start in about a half hour. So set your timer. We'll be back then.
You take me higher when I feel low. Make my world brighter when I'm alone. I keep on rolling, with your fuel. You're like my gasoline that makes my dream come true.